Well, welcome everybody to today's health chat. Are you feeling fatigued, foggy, or fuzzy? Well, I know what that means because I've been there, I've done that. I'm Gail Davis. I'm your host for the next 30 minutes, and we're going to be talking about how to go from fatigued to fantastic. Everybody with me? I hope so. Well, basically, my story started many, many years ago. This is probably 10 to 15 years ago, a picture of me and the kids and my husband on the screen. Well, fatigue was my middle name. It was not uncommon for me to crash in the afternoon. I would probably around 2 o'clock take a 2-hour nap, be down for the count, get up, do dinner, and then right after dinner find a way to then go to sleep. I would be in bed by 8 o'clock down. That was it. The standing joke was, don't call Gail after 8 o'clock. Fuzziness, fogginess, fatigue. It was just a constant companion with me. So I actually turned to a dear friend and I said, I'm at wit's end. Do you have any suggestions? And over the next 30 minutes, I will share with you some of the suggestions that were given to me. Let's just look for a moment at some of the causes of fatigue. Well, maybe environmental. Sometimes the toxins and the chemical exposures that we are exposed to can wreak havoc on our system, putting a strain on our adrenal glands, a strain on our liver. So our bodies are under constant attack. There's thousands and thousands of chemicals all around us. Very few have ever been tested for toxicity. That's a whole other presentation that I'd love to talk about at a future time. Another cause of fatigue can be emotional or psychological. We undergo stress each and every day. We worry about how we're going to pay the bills, how we're going to make payments for our kids in college. It spirals out and sometimes ends into a depression, and we don't know where to go with that. So basically, with emotional fatigue, we can have stress and worry and depression just building up. What are we going to do about retirement? What are we going to do about our anxiety? How am I going to maintain all of this? How am I going to pay for the new boiler that my house needs? All of that just wreaks havoc more and more on our systems. Then add to it the physical fatigue, which I will talk about in a moment. But I would like to just ask everybody for a moment to rate yourself, to take a vitality quiz. Rate yourself from 1 to 5, 5 being the highest. Now, I'm going to ask you to grab a piece of paper or just your fingers or whatever in front of you. So on a daily level, on your daily energy level, from 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest, how would you rate your vitality? How about your immune system strength? How would you rate it from 1 to 5? Your appearance of skin, hair, and nails. How would you rate that? Add to it your managing of daily stress, your daily diet, and then your overall health and outlook. Now, add it up. I'm going to give everybody a moment. Well, let's rate ourselves. If you're 17 or under, at least you're honest. Now, there's nowhere to go but up. And I promise you, in the next 25 minutes, we'll talk about how to go up. 18 to 24, the good news is you're doing okay. The bad news is you're just doing okay. And 25 to 30, bravo, you're obviously taking care. You're obviously caring about how you're taking care of yourself. Well, as I promised, let's look at the physical causes of fatigue, and I can promise you that you will come away with some tips to overcome the foggy, fuzzy fatigue that all of us may be experiencing. Oftentimes in the afternoon, I just crash. Previously, Oftentimes, I would have a hard time juggling who's on first, what's on second, and perhaps you know the old Abbott and Costello routine. But there's many causes for physical fatigue. It could be illness or disease, whether it be diabetes or Lyme's disease. There's so many different causes of illness and disease that can cause a real fatigue, or maybe lack of sleep. Well, I don't know about you, but when I was raising my kids, I definitely had a lack of sleep. Or a lack of exercise can also cause us to be tired and fatigued. Well, physical, there could also be lack of nutrients. How many really are eating the way we should be eating? If you look at the pyramid, the food pyramid, I bet my bottom dollar that very few on today's health chat can really say they've been eating the perfect diet. Well, there's so many foods that zap our energy, whether it be sugar or refined carbohydrates or even wheat. I have a daughter who's gluten sensitive, and oh my goodness, her energy is zapped whenever she has wheat. Or alcohol. There's foods that zap our energy. But where do people turn for energy? Well, sadly, most people turn to sugar, that morning little coffee fix with a donut on the side, or caffeine, that morning little coffee fix with caffeine. But sadly, people are dying from caffeine overdoses. Just recently, a South Carolina teen died, collapsed at his high school after consuming large soft drinks, a latte, an energy drink over a short period of time. People turn to sugar or caffeine when they need the energy. But may I suggest, why don't we turn to fresh fruits and vegetables, or nuts, or berries, or legumes, or beans, maybe some lean meat, and pure water? Many times when we're tired or fuzzy or fatigued, we just are dehydrated and we need pure water. Another place that we should turn is to whole food supplements. And may I suggest that we start with a multivitamin that's whole food based. We as Americans are overfed, but we're undernourished. We need to fill in the gaps because up to 38% decline in nutrient crops, content in crops over the past few years. Our crops are not giving us the nutrients we need. There's been an increase in fast food sales by 2,000 in the past 20 years. Sadly, only 2% of us get the recommended amount of fruits and vegetables, and has been up to a 38, well, I shared about that 38 decline of nutrients in garden crops, and 90% of Americans are lacking key nutrients. So we need a good multivitamin fit to fill in the gaps, to help us. But we also need B vitamins. We're not getting what we need. Think of B vitamins as the happy vitamins that can help with the brain, can help the fog and fuzziness. They help burn fat into energy. But sadly, B vitamins are depleted with sugar and stress. My husband, he can tell you his story that for the longest time, the standing joke was he would have a little sugar binge. Well, one day, uh, it's very common when he would have to pick me up at the airport, just the stress of picking me up at a New York City airport. He would have his little gummy bears or his Smarties or Sweet Tarts or whatever he would have, or Canadian mints, and he would eat a whole bag as he's going down to the airport to pick me up. But within a few hours, he really experienced a brain fog because the B vitamins are needed to process sugar, deplete what's in our brain, hence we get fuzzy. But also don't forget, as you're adding the B vitamins, don't forget your minerals, your omegas, your phytonutrients, and your probiotics. So you may be asking, how do I choose a vitamin supplement? Where do I go? There's so many supplements on the market. And I've talked to woman after woman, mom after mom, who has really been in a quandary as to what vitamins to choose for their kids. Well, think of just 7 quick criteria for choosing a supplement. Number 1, is it bioavailable? Does the vitamin dissolve quickly enough to be bioavailable to your cells? Does it get in? Or do you just poop it out? Additives. Does the vitamin contain artificial colorants, sweeteners, and preservatives? Sadly, so many out there do. Enzyme life. Is high heat used to process the vitamin, thereby killing the enzyme life? Well, it makes sense. If you were to cook a vegetable stew and cook it and cook it and cook it, there's going to be no nutrient value left in that stew. So why do vitamin companies use high heat to process nutrient supplements, thereby killing the vitamins? Another thing to look for, is it food sourced? Is the vitamin food sourced or is it synthetic? And so oftentimes you hear about clinical studies in the news saying, oh, these vitamins are bad for you. Well, you know what? I bet my bottom dollar most of the time when those clinical studies come out, they've used a synthetic. Think of it as a plastic vitamin. So of course it's going to be bad for you. And scientific research. Is the manufacturer committed to scientific research or is it just marketing research? And how many scientists are conducting this research? And publications. Is their research published in scientific, medical, refereed journals, or are they just plain advertising journals? And lastly, are the raw materials pure and controlled? Have they been tested for pesticides, fungicides, herbicides, and heavy metals? Well, 15 years ago, when I was going through my little brain fog and fatigue and fuzziness, and I needed my naps and I would crash at night, I turned to research, and a company I found that I can trust is called Shaklee. And what really impressed me with this company is we call it the Shaklee difference. Purity, potency, performance, and proof. Everything is pure above and beyond, testing for contaminants above and beyond. Think of OCD, testing for the herbicides, the fungicides, the heavy metals, the E. coli's, and testing again. And potency, what's on the bottle, on the label, is in the bottle, guaranteed. And performance, guaranteed to work, best absorbed for the maximum benefit, and the proof, the clinical, scientific, peer-reviewed studies that proved the company. So once I saw, the proof is in the pudding, once I saw this company of magnificent integrity and scientific validity, I said, yes, let me try and see if I can work on my constant fatigue. Well, one of the studies that Shaklee did a few years ago, well, rather I should say Berkeley, California's School of Public Health did a few years ago on Shaklee supplements, was something called the Landmark Study. And they took Shaklee users versus other vitamin supplement users versus no supplement users. And they were amazed at the results. Lower triglycerides, lower cholesterol, lower C-reactive proteins, lower homocysteine levels. Now, that may be Greek to you, what I've just said, but Shaklee users who participated in the study basically had markedly better health. Think of it as better energy. Think of it as lack of fatigue. Groundbreaking research through and through. So where do these Shaklee users start? Why was the study so amazing? Well, we have a product called the Vitalizer. Think of it as 80 bio-optimized nutrients clinically proven to create the foundation you need. Remember, I talked about the need for a multivitamin. I talked about the need for vitamin B. And then there's so many other vitamins we need to fill in the gaps. Well, Vitalizer offers one convenient strip with everything you need. The vitamin A, C, D, E, K, B12, boron, folic acid. I could go on and on. The iodine, the magnesium, the chromium, the omega-3, the lycopene, the selenium, the beta-carotene. Everything you need in one strip to help fill in the gaps. It's absolutely an amazing place to get started. It's called the Smart Delivery System, Shaklee Micronutrient Advanced Release Technology. Basically, think of it as the right place, right time, right channel. The vitamins are bioavailable. It starts with the Vital E, the multivitamin. It's micro-coated for immediate release in the stomach to enhance the absorption of folic acid. Ladies, folic acid is needed if you're thinking about having children. This way you get it immediately. Folic acid is also needed for hair, skin, nails. There's so many different benefits of folic acid. Then, Corrado E omega. Think of it as the CEO of the company. The carotenoids, the vitamin E's, the omegas, basically it's coated so it's released at the right time, but also avoiding a fishy aftertaste. And then the B and C, there's sustained release delivery at the right time, right place, right channel, clinically shown to provide up to 198% greater absorption of the B vitamins over 12 hours compared to conventional delivery systems. And then add to it an Optiflora, which is a probiotic, triple encapsulated, so it delivers the live Acidophilus bifidus, the probiotics, the bacteria, the good stuff, the good guys that you need to the lower intestines. Another product to help with energy, it's called Vivix. Think of the red grapes, the resveratrol. You've heard of the fountain of youth, Ponce de Leon. You've heard of why Frenchmen are able to live longer and not have the cholesterol with eating all the cheese, but they're drinking the red wine. Well, resveratrol found in our Vivix product slows the aging mechanism. It activates longevity genes, it repairs DNA, it repairs damaged cells, and it regenerates the mitochondria. Think of the mitochondria as the energy storehouse of the cell. It regenerates the mitochondria, hence increasing your energy. I love Vivix. It increases cellular energy. A study was done with a control group, and this is a cross-section on your screen representing mitochondrial mass in human muscle cells. Then regular over-the-counter resveratrol was added, and you can see the little green areas are showing a little bit more activity. As soon as you did the Vivix control, oh my goodness, the cellular energy increased dramatically. But let me ask you, are you getting enough protein in your diet? And are you getting good protein in your diet? I recently went to a program and it was talking about beef and just the processing of beef and the poultry industry and the processing of chickens. And then it was talking about the need for organic and grass-fed. And it's just so alarming, all the hormones and additives and antibiotics that are added to our meat supply. So my question is, are you getting your protein, which really can help increase your energy? Well, Shaklee has a life energizing shake that's designed to increase energy, yet help you achieve a healthier weight, provide digestive and immune support, live longer, and live younger. So I love my smoothies. Every morning I make a pina colada smoothie or a margarita smoothie or a chocolate strawberry delight. There's just so many different ways that I use this to make sure that I'm getting my protein and I'm feeding my cells what they need. But something that really depletes energy is extra weight. So may I encourage everyone on today's webinar that if healthy weight is a priority, get rid of the wheat, get rid of the sugar and refined carbs, make friends with your vegetables, and consider looking at the 180 turnaround system. In fact, in June, we will be talking a lot about it for summer health and to get ready for the bathing suit season, but I love this system and it's helped me maintain my weight and lose weight when necessary. Another product I love, it's called Core Energy, combining ginseng and cordyceps to enhance your stamina and your energy. It also has green tea for antioxidants, and there's so many benefits that have been reported, including Mental vigor, increasing mental vigor and concentration, improved blood sugar balance, sound sleep, liver function, heart function, kidney function, the list goes on. This is a great add-on to a program. Another product I absolutely love is called Shaklee 180 Energy Tea, and it's a liquid oomph. I love having an afternoon tea, and it comes in 2 different flavors, whether it be green matcha or pomegranate. I love my afternoon energy boost. It's refreshing. Forget about the coffee and the amped up sodas. It's safe and it's a natural way to head off slumps. But it also has so many medicinal properties. What I mean by that is clinical studies have shown that it's antimicrobial. It helps stimulate your immune system. It's anti-carcinogenic, anti-inflammatory. It can help protect against cardiovascular disease. It detoxifies, and it gives you the energy pick-me-up. And then how about Pure Energy Chews? Remember I spoke about that young fellow dying of an overdose of caffeine? This has a natural caffeine tea extract, but it's also giving you L-tyrosine and L-theanine for focus, alertness, the B vitamins, the D. It sustains energy, improves performance, and it uses only safe ingredients. So many of the energy drinks and shots out there contain artificial colors and flavors and sweeteners and preservatives and high sugar and high calorie. Not true with our energy chews. In fact, there's been many Olympian who has used our products, and it's helped them stay focused and help them with endurance. Pure Energy Chews, I highly recommend. And then another product that I recommend, it's called Performance. Think of it as a rehydration drink. I won't mention that other drink that's out there that starts with the letter G. But it helps minimize fluid loss. It maintains the blood glucose levels that can cause energy droppings, and it increases endurance. I love to mix the Performance with a little bit of the pomegranate energy tea in some ice, and oh my goodness, I've got a drink that you can kill for. So basically, my secret, when I was introduced to this 15 years ago, again, I was slumping. I was crashing. Fatigue was my middle name. I was literally incoherent after 8 o'clock at night. No one would ever call me up on the phone, and I really found myself unable to do much after 8 at night. I started on what I would call a box and a can. A box of the Vitalizer, but at that point it was called the Basics. Change the name, change the packaging, same concept. The Vitalizer and a can of protein. I used it every day, and my friends saw the difference in me. In fact, my friends started to say to me, "Hey girl, whatever you're using, we want to use too." It was absolutely amazing. I started it 15 years ago. I will not go back. I cannot live without this because I find that I'm in the same place where my body needs and craves proper nutrients. So the Shaklee guarantee, you put in the best, you bring out the best. Natural ingredients you can trust. No artificial flavors, sweeteners, or preservatives. Everything you need, nothing you don't. Always safe, always works, always green, guaranteed. Everything is 100% money back guaranteed. Everything is guaranteed to make you feel better. In fact, we are so confident that you will feel better in 30 days or your money back. So you may be wondering, where do I get started? How do I get started? What do I do? My suggestion, step number one, talk to the person who invited you on today's call. Ask them for the link to start your own Health Print. Health Print is a free online health assessment designed to help you create a personal nutrition plan. Get your personal plan, feel better in 30 days, money back guarantee. So first place I'd recommend is Health Print. Second place I would recommend is once you've done your Health Print, it will be recommending the Vitalizer, the box in a can, the Vitalizer, a can of protein. But there's a special this month, only for one more day until the end of the month, where Shaklee will add in stress relief complex. Well, stress relief was one of my staple supplements as I was going through menopause, and the standing joke was I didn't kill anybody. So I love stress relief complex, and especially for women with the fear of bone loss, osteomatrix. Well, the Women's Health Pack, only good for one more day, the special, you get a free membership, free lifetime membership, free shipping, and so much more. So again, talk to the person that invited you on today's call. So ready to get started? Talk to the person who invited you. Ask about HealthPrint. Ask about saving 15% off of your orders for the rest of your life with a free lifetime membership. And thank you so much for joining us today. In the month of June, we're going to be having health chats on men's health, on a healthy weight. I'm even going to throw in one on pet health and summer fun. So stay tuned, and again, talk to the person that invited you on today's call. I want to thank everybody for taking time today, and have a great day.